Welcome to the Overdrive Show here on Vision Radio 105.1 FM. Today we have in the house members from the cast of Blame, and I am so excited. I'm totally selfish in saying this. Two friends of mine are involved in putting this film together, and I've been waiting five ever for this to come out. And so we have the cast with us today. Everybody just give out a quick hey. We got a few of them with us. We have Lauren and Roberto, Rachel, Austin, and Lainey. I hope I didn't meet. I don't think I missed anybody. We're all together, and thanks to Zoom and technology, we able to get everybody on one call, and it's so fun. So I'm going to start with Lauren. I'm gonna throw it to you, and if you want to expand on it a little bit more, you can. So I'm gonna start with the script. I want to know, how did you find out about it, and kind of what was the casting process like?
Yeah. So I first found out about this script. My agent in Chicago sent it to me and was like, okay, this is like a teen thriller. They want you to audition for Mia. And so I was reading through it, and I think I told Rachel this. At first, I definitely identified more with her character. I was like, I don't know if I'm a Mia. Like, she's a little mean. And then just a little. But then, 15 pages in, I was like, I take it back. I'm obsessed with Mia. I have to play her. Because, she can be a little, she knows what she wants and she goes after it, but she's an amazing friend and, just wants to protect her loved ones. But yeah, reading through the script, you're hooked so instantly. It's so well written, and it takes crazy turns you do not expect. So my ADD brain, the fact that I flew through it so quickly, I was like, okay, this is going to be a great movie. I really hope I get to be a part of it. But the process for it was actually interesting because it was just a self-tape. And then there were no callbacks. There were no chemistry reads. And I sent it in, and I was like, okay, fingers crossed. I really love Mia. I really hope I get to play her. And then I just didn't hear anything for what felt like an eternity. And I was like, well, yeah, someone else is playing Mia. That's a bummer. And then one day my agent called and she was like, great, they want you. You're Mia. I was like, yay! So it was exciting, but it was also such a credit to Richard and Amber and everyone who cast it, because they didn't do chemistry reads. And truly, they couldn't have put together a better group of friends. We are obsessed with each other now. I see Rachel and Austin. I mean, even in the pandemic, I saw them every single week. They were the only people I saw.
Oh, wow.
So they really, they did an incredible job assembling the cast for this.
And how would you, I know how I would describe your character. How would you describe her?
I would describe Mia as she's bold, she's confident, she goes after what she wants unapologetically, which is, at first I was like, okay, she's not the nicest, but truly, I don't think it's that. I think it's just that we're not used to seeing women go after what they want so boldly and so unapologetically. So, I really do respect her, and I love Mia. But as you will see, I'm not going to spoil anything, but throughout the film, she really does have a heart of gold. And, no matter what your first impressions of her are, she really just wants to protect her loved ones and her friends, and she'll do whatever it takes to try to do what's best for them, even if it scares her.
I think what's great is with all of these characters, no matter who you're looking at, you think you know them, but just like your own friends, I mean, you can't always go by even who they are on the regular. In this, of course, this particular movie is even more so, because it's I trust them. No, wait a minute. Do I trust? I don't know if I trust her. I don't know. No, I don't think I do. I mean, you just kind of I don't know. And that, you're so did that happen? Or maybe this happened. I mean, I felt reading the script, I was like you were talking about, kind of ADD, I don't know, but it could be this. I mean, I could have read ahead and I should have, but I didn't. I was like, oh, I can't, because then I won't get the authentic feel of the film, So I thought you were absolutely fantastic. I'm going to throw this to Roberto now. So you play the character Logan,
Yes.
and um, you go through a lot of emotions. What was it like trying to find that kind of comfort zone as an actor, like finding where you needed to be and where your emotions needed to be for this performance?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you were saying, Logan is a moody one, and the way I sort of saw him was like this kid. You know, you look back and you're like, man, what's wrong with you? Like, come on, just like have some fun or whatever like that. And so, a lot of the time when I was sort of finding his like emotional life and his emotional journey, it was identifying with like that kind of person, and the authenticity of somebody who is sort of left behind, but then also like really striving to be a part of the fun, and the center of the fun. I know for me, like personally, yeah, like I've gone through some trauma in my life and all that, and I kind of like use some of those traumatic experiences to find some of the more personal, authentic, emotional moments that Logan experiences. Um, and I think the script actually did a really good job of sort of identifying those moments when Logan really pops out and is like, you know, freaking out, to certain situations. And I sort of just leaned in on some of those moments in the script. Um, yeah, so that's a testament to how well written the script was, a testament to Richard and BJ.
I think also too a lot of people can relate to Roberto, and because I mean we all think we want to come off like Angelina Jolie or Tom Cruise or one of these people who just they come off slick no matter what they're doing. But I don't know. I think as much as I'd like to think I would come off cool, like I probably be all over the place. Like, we never know until that moment happens where, you have a crisis of some kind like that, especially in the pressure cooker that you guys are in as characters.
Right.
You just never know what could come out in that aspect. So, you did a fantastic job, and I actually just loved your characters because I could, like I said, I feel like I could relate to how you know you took it just a little bit further, which made it comical but also believable, like at the same time. So, enjoyed you very very much. For you, when you were cast, did you have a similar casting experience or was it different?
No, it was very similar to Lauren's process here. I mean, it was like, oh, here from my representation, like here's a script. Feel like this is going to be a good role for you. And when I was reading him, I identified with, like I was saying, I identified with like that kid in the back of the classroom, because that was very much me too. Like growing up, I kind of had to like prove myself a lot of the time, and I was like, oh yeah, this is completely like Logan. And so I just kind of like lead into that. And it was the process itself. Yeah, it was self taping. It was submitting, and then it was waiting, a few months, and then getting the call from Amber, and inviting me to join the cast. I will say too, um, this this piece is very ensemble based. So like finding who Logan was in the process had a lot to do with my other castmates. So taking bits and pieces from Lauren and Rachel and Austin and Lainey, and just seeing like who is this friend in this mix of personalities. What I
Right.
mean? And everybody did such a great job in that respect.
Well, I'm going to turn this over to two people who, by some chance, happen to be on the same Zoom call, Rachel and Austin. Um, you guys have a special connection outside of taping, right?
That we do.
A little bit.
Just a little bit, a couple of things going on. You are married, and you have other things. You developed your own separate project, right?
During quarantine, we've been working on our own, film of family. We're,
Yep.
which is why I look like my hair is blowing in the wind. Is because I have a fan on me because I'm incubating right now and I'm very warm. The AC is on, and I'm still very warm.
For you guys, I mean, especially like I would have a hard time being in character, especially like I said, in kind of a pressure cooker setting like this with the characters. So I'm curious to see what what that was like being on set together.
I loved it. It was
I like
wonderful
how
for
he like
me.
threw it. He like looked right at you, like, yeah, I'm letting the pregnant lady talk first.
I was having a great time. What about for you, honey?
For me, I loved it as well. We did have rather comical moments where Ella, Rachel's character, and Blake, my character, are not. They're friends. Who knows what their past really held as far as relationship, but in terms of the present moment in the film,
Lainey's his girlfriend.
Lainey is, her character is my girlfriend. And
Boy, that came out really quick, didn't it?
And so it would be very funny to be on set, hear action, have my relationships on camera, hear a cut, and be like, "What'd you think, babe? How'd we do?" We had a moment. There is a kissing scene, and I won't get too much into it. And at one point afterwards, Rachel went up to the character and went, "So, how was he?"
Oh
Was this
my
good?"
gosh, she did not.
And this was on one of the
I think it was
first
just day two.
day two of shooting,
Rachel.
so we had just met each other. No one had this idea yet that Rachel is just this bubbly spirit that is just going with the flow of this is what our job is. And so no one knew how she would take these kind of scenes. And so she did that, everyone's mouths dropped. Just,
Now, the two of you in the movie, like how close is that to your actual personality though in like real life?
I would say nothing, or well, for me at least.
Go ahead.
So to rewind real fast, so Austin and I, when they booked us, they had no idea we were together.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
no, they had no idea we were married. Austin got the booking, I think 2.5, maybe 3 weeks before I did, and I was like, oh well, like it is what it is. I'm very excited for you. So exciting and wonderful. I'm gonna miss you so much. And I had actually auditioned for Mia, and I resonated with Mia. I was like, oh, I could play this role. And so when I got the call and they were like, we're interested in you for Ella. Are you available? And I was like, do they know? Do they know that we're married? Do they know that do they know they already hired my husband? Somebody tell them. I had my agent call and tell them. And then BJ called me that night. He's like, we're so excited. We had no idea. We went back and listened to your audition tapes.
Yeah, when we heard you playing back, we heard Austin reading with you, and then all of a sudden we were like, oh.
Yeah. So that was really cool. But so they told me they wanted me to play Ella and not Mia, and I was like, okay. And like I read the whole script, so I remembered her character, but I had really been paying attention to Mia when I was, auditioning and reading it. So I went back. I would say Ella she's sweet. She's a little self-conscious and she's a little oblivious. There's a lot of things, like she's just she's there and she's sweet and she means well, but she might be missing a little bit of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
So I would say that I am loud and brash and attentive and in the middle of it, where Ella is just like, she's along for the ride and she's happy to be there and you're happy to have her there because
it's Ella.
Yeah, it's Ella. Aw, Ella, you're so sweet. So I would say for me, character-wise, nothing. Like we don't have the same kind of connection, but she was really fun to play. Like some of the lines I got to say, I was like, I'm very excited about my line today. I'm very excited about this one specific thing I get to say.
Well, that's more fun too when it's outside your own personality. You actually get to act. You actually get to dig deep and sometimes it's awesome when it is natural and it flows with like your personality, but you got to have those that challenge you like that are outside your personality and it was be something you wouldn't say, but you can get away with it because you're in the film.
And I would say for me, for Blake, our zero is somewhat close. Blake is kind of the golden boy. He likes to take charge of situations. He likes to lead. He likes to think, and this might be where we differentiate a bit, because he likes to think that he has everything under control and that what he says should create good results. But for any hero, pride comes before the fall.
Yeah.
And so for me, the tapping into the character itself, it's a little layered. Blake puts on a presentation. He likes to show a certain side of himself and have that be what is controlled.
Right.
Until situations get out of his hands, and then all of a sudden we start to see the little cracks in the porcelain.
Right.
And that's so much fun to play because you get to really slowly discover, and that's what I love about the script is it's a trope that we know and love, but it's done in a way that rather than knowing who the monster is, we get to witness all the characters discovering the monsters within.
Lainey, I'm going to throw this to you next. And I guess I'm supposed to ask you, how was the kiss? Just kidding. Don't answer that. If you're not schooled enough, girl, you're never supposed to answer that. You're supposed to say it was gross. I mean, if anything, say no offense, but like, yeah, it was like kissing my brother. So for you, I actually would very much like to. So she's saying she identified with, your character more. Do you feel like you were kind of the opposite? Like, did you feel that, or did you also feel kind of, familiar with your character and her personality?
With Andy, I feel very, very different from her. But yet, when I'm reading the script, I really felt so endeared to her. And I feel like she's the type of person that everybody knows. Everyone knows an Andy. Everyone's got an Andy in their life. She truly is a heart of gold, and she's a truth speaker. But her fatal flaw is that along with speaking the truth, she says everything else too. And,
No filter.
No filter.
Yeah.
Everything, every thought that passes her brain just comes
right
out.
Yeah.
And she's extremely charming and really cares about her friends. And but yeah, her fatal flaw really just kind of, I think, holds her back from the connection that she craves with the people around her. And because of that, the truth that she tells and this voice of reason that she offers is often disregarded because of the, extraneous words that come out along with it. But yeah, I felt so endeared to her and very different from her because I in my life have felt I just am a quieter person. I think I come off a little bit more shy than she does. I've struggled with feeling like I really connect quickly with the people around me, especially in groups. Maybe I'm an introvert. I don't know. But she's not that way. She, craves connection instantly, and she makes those connections because she's so forthright with everything that she says. And yeah, I feel very different from her, but I think, like what you were saying, I was able to act, and I was able to be somebody who is different from me and somebody that I felt very endeared to for reasons that are the exact opposite of who I am. And yeah, it was a lot of fun trying to pinpoint, just who she is deep down and try to show a little bit of that in the midst of all the words that she is constantly saying. Because I think that's ultimately what she wants, is she wants to, connect with the people around her and show them who she really is. And yeah.
Well, and she, your character, although she has no filter, she does have stunts. So were you able to actually be involved in the stunts themselves, or how much of that was you, kind of thing?
Yeah, so that was honestly probably one of my favorite days of the shoot because I had never worked with a stunt coordinator before, but to be able to choreograph my own stunts with somebody who obviously knows how to do it safely and correctly was so cool and such a unique experience. So yes, now I can say that I do my own stunts.
Lauren, if I can throw something at you, You came in from, okay, why? I need to know first, but you came in from LA to do this project. Why? Um, to cold Wisconsin? I mean, I'm in the Michigan area, and I'm like, why? No, just kidding. It's a fantastic movie. That's why. But sincerely, why? And you guys all stayed together there?
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago, so
Oh, okay.
thought I was used to the cold,
No.
and like every Christmas we go to Buffalo, New York, which is freezing and full of snow, but
That's pretty cold.
nothing in the world could have prepared me for a polar vortex, because that's not normal. Even for someone who grew up in Chicago.
Exactly.
So that was brutal. But I will say, like, I'm grateful we had the polar vortex, because it just added to the bonding experience for all of us.
Well, you had to bond. You were cold. You had to stay next to each other. I mean, except for
together, yeah.
little Rachel. If she'd have been in this condition, she could have kept you all warm. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. Keep her belly as like a heater. Oh my god! But yeah, there were times when. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh no, there were times when we had like those hand warmers in our mittens and in our boots. And I cannot for the life of me remember what it was, but we made up a song one day between takes that we were singing in the car. We like changed the words to a song to be something about like to remind us to keep moving our toes so we wouldn't get.
I know it. It's curl, 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 curl your toes.
Curl your toes. Yes. Oh god!
I was sitting there like, what did I get myself into?
Roberto's like, this is so, yeah, speaking about a character, here I am.
I do have to say, though, it was actually pretty funny that these guys experienced all the worst parts of winter in just 2 weeks. It's like, why would Wisconsin do that? Oh, because we're shooting a film. That's why.
If I can commandeer this question, I grew up in California. The warm parts of California. So this was new. This whole cold winter polar vortex situation was very new, very unexpected. And like Lauren was saying, there's really nothing that can possibly prepare the human body for experiencing that type of cold. No amount of jackets, no amount of hand warmers, no amount of socks. Like when it gets to the
There's
point
not enough songs either. I mean, you can't make up
sorry?
enough songs to stay that warm.
Yeah, no, you can't. I remember there was one day where I was like the news was on in the background, and the news anchor was telling people to keep your mouth and eyes closed as much as you can when you go outside, because your eyeballs would freeze over. That doesn't make sense. I will never understand. Like, I can't even fathom having experienced it. There's no muscle memory. It's just, I mean, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable, but it really bonded us and elevated our whole experience.
When you breathe out, like, there is massive smoke. I mean, like, the scenes, like, are even, the cinematography part of it, it can pick up so much more because it is so cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something I couldn't believe that it was happening during filming, but it just so, I mean, it was obviously meant to be because it's gorgeous. I mean, visually it is. I'm sorry for all of your need to go make up songs and hand warmers, but now that it's over and everybody's okay and we got a baby out of it, then we're all good. Like,
it was very interesting too, just everyone trying to put that silver lining spin on everything. We had one day in particular where we were shooting in a gymnasium and the pipes had burst and just water everywhere in the freezing. They're trying to get things ready for us to shoot there. And by the time everything was set for us, the way it had all played out, even indoors, you can see the breath coming out of us. And I just remember one take where yelled cut, and BJ goes, "We don't need any special effects here. You can see everything."
Great for editing. Yeah, the editor got real lucky. The polar vortex.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
And also, it's really such a testament to how amazing our crew was, because like between takes, because we were the actors and tend to be a little more spoiled on set, they would usher us inside, we would stand in front of the heater, we had these heat warmers in our gloves, but our crew would stay outside in the snow, resetting up lights, resetting up the shot, and like they never complained once. Like this movie, every time you see us like outside and in the snow and stuff, like I just want people to know how much the crew sacrificed and like what they went through to make it happen. It's insane.
Yep, true.
Well, Austin, I'm going to ask you a question because you're not going to be able to talk for several years. So this whole thing, the whole movie is taking place like technically over a 24-hour period. I wish you probably wish the cold only lasted that long, but what's it like to go back and like basically pretend like same day, same moment, and like have everything just kind of come right back in that moment and keep time with the film?
It was very, very interesting for that respect, because as time is passing in real life, we're still stuck in the same emotions, the same traumas and feelings of the characters. And so, being how long our shoot days were, I had less time as Austin and more time on set as Blake. So it was really honing into these feelings of, okay, we're just living in this for weeks on end and just living in the slow, gradual explosion that is this movie.
And Roberto's laughing. So because you're laughing, you're next.
Well, that was
No, I want to ask Roberto something, truly and seriously. There is I'm going to let you say it, but there is a really interesting and kind of cosmic I don't know, symbiotic thing between BJ Rainiac and, writer, producer Richard Blake and then of course, and use as a cast. Like, I want to know kind of like what it was like working with them. Do you see that? I know that it's there because I know they've been friends for a very long time. I think I probably don't even have a good take on it, but for like being on set, like watching them work, what was it like to have them as a team? Could you see like for sure like there's a difference in these two guys working together?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were seamless working together. They finished each other's sentences. They finished each other's directions. I think those two together made the process go so smoothly. I know that when BJ was working on one part of the direction, of the film, Richard was there to work on something else. So like, for example, BJ was setting up a lot of the shots and like getting all the technical direction ready for us to like, be sort of just plopped right into the moment, while Richard was working with us as sort of like the acting director, right? The acting coach. And he was giving us specific directions for the scenes and what have you. And I felt like it was just really cool to be working with like this. They're like the same person, but they're like different. Like, if that makes sense, yeah.
I feel like Richard's always like creating in his mind, and BJ's always visualizing. Like, Richard's always like thinking, and he's always visual. Like, and BJ, I'm telling you, I mean, even the trailer. I mean, that trailer is epic. Like I mean, just the time that they've spent from the last movie they did together to this one, it's like, whoa, next level. Like, you leveled up totally, like several levels. Like, you just working to, I mean, it's one thing to know each other all their life, but they didn't live in the same state. So they weren't working side by side like that. So it's pretty incredible to have that kind of going on. And I would imagine that makes it a lot easier as an actor to have that, with no friction. It basically just kind of be very, like I said, it's kind of symbiotic going on between them.
Absolutely. And if I might add too, like, we understood as a cast that this story and this project was so personal to them. So I think, they also really allowed like their passions together, their combined passions to lead them, in making this. And then, in like working with us and working with the crew, and that, passion, is the best tool at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
And it was cold, right? Yeah, Roberto, you agree?
Yeah. It was cold. It was really cold. I mean, I'm like from the Midwest, like, so I'm kind of used to, some of the polar vortexes, that we get around here. But like, even me saying that, yeah, it was cold. It was cold.
Yeah, Lauren's like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, it was. We were all there. We were all we were all cold together.
We were all freezing. And if I could backtrack just for a second too, something that was incredibly interesting within the script, Richard, who wrote it, the characters Blake and the character Logan were actually based kind of off of their relationship, BJ and Richard together. So we were able offset to see their interactions, see how their relationship dynamic worked, and actively be able to have that inspire us as actors to see who these characters are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I would have been there, I could have inspired both girls, all three girls, because I have a different personality several times throughout the day, so I could have just picked one and helped inspire you, but it's okay. We'll get it on the next round. We'll get the next project.
There you go.
So Lauren, since you're the beautiful face on my screen right now, well, you and Austin both have some pretty heavy scenes with Richard. Richard, again, I admit wholeheartedly, I don't mind admitting, he's been a long time friend of mine. He is very serious about his craft. He's very serious about when he does a script. It is so personal. It's like woven into his fibers. Like, it's just ingrained in him. He is so passionate about it. Being around him and doing scenes with him and everything. Do you feel like you learn things like just from interacting with him in those capacities, both as the actor and obviously the writer and the director?
Definitely. I think it's such a privilege to get to work with someone who's doing multiple things on the project. So like for that specific scene you're referencing with Richard, to have him, who he wrote the script, he has been like laboring over it for years, and then he produced it and like imagined every detail of how every scene would go, and then he's in the moment with me. Like, it was such a treat, and it was one of the most almost like natural scenes, I think, in the film, because he drops in so quickly. And so for me, like, dropping in opposite him and like getting to have that conversation, it flowed so easily, and I like really felt like I was being interrogated by Richard, and like this was the moment that would determine everything. Like, he's such a wonderful scene partner and writer, so getting to like work with both of those at once in one person is amazing.
Austin, you had some intense things going with Richard as well.
I did. It's so interesting because Richard in his craft is very serious, and there are just slight moments where he'll allow his own fun personality to come through. But in this moment with our intense scene together, I know Blake is the golden boy. He has everything in charge. He's ready to go. But for a moment, you're almost like, maybe he's not in charge. Richard, he's kind of in charge right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's got that great kind of personality, like where when it's time for business, like, he can get like super serious, but he's also super fun, like, to be around. And then Amber, I mean, his wife, and I mean, it's so great too, just the relationships of the two families, together, BJ and Richard and their wives. Like, it's incredible to watch all of that happen. And so, I mean, this question is, I guess, not even a question, I guess, but so for everyone, they need to know Amazon purchases for worldwide distribution. It's set for a select theater run beginning August 20th, which is also your red carpet. And I just, for everyone who can't see, which you can't because it's radio, but Rachel's like flipping her hair. I don't know if it's as soon as I said red carpet, she did a hair flip. She's gonna say it's because she's hot, but that's quite Hollywood hair flip. I'm just saying. She's beautiful, so she can pull it off. But when this begins streaming on Amazon, it'll be in 37 countries on September 21st. So anybody that wants to jump in, just whoever's the quickest. What can audiences expect from this movie? Like, do you think it's a family film? Is it edgier? Like, what's your personal take on what people can expect?
I wouldn't call it a family film.
Okay, you would know, Rachel. Do that first. Have I gotten to know you that well already, Rachel? Is she always going to be the first one up? Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
My sweet, kind, loving father bought, like, as soon as we got the premiere information, I sent it to him, and he got tickets. He messaged me, he's like, I got tickets for the whole family, all the sisters. I have a lot of sisters. And my 5-year-old niece. And I called him, and I was like, Dad, Adriana cannot come see this movie. Like, she has a very good relationship with both Austin and I would not feel comfortable. Like, first of all, no, she can't see this movie. And
Yeah.
second of all, are you trying to ruin things for us? I love my niece. She's obsessed with Austin, but she likes me too. I was like, no, like, this is not okay for that. And he's like, oh, I was just, thinking it'd be no, it would not be nice, Dad. I love you. Thank you so much. Somebody can bring a boyfriend because the 5-year-old is not coming to see this movie.
Yeah. And just onto that, I would say yes. This is not necessarily a family movie. It is a snowy thriller that it chills your blood and keeps your heart pumping at the same time, which doesn't make sense, but just keeps making you want to see what happens next.
Kind of like a preppier, younger, cleaner version of Saw. Like, throw all these people in a powder keg and blow it up and see what happens. But
blood, but just as thrilling. Yes,
it's just as thrilling, but just not as gross. It really is. I mean, it's
cautionary tale in there as well.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Roberto?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, he's being so quiet. I just thought I would give him a hard time.
Yeah, that's yep. A little bit of cautionary tale in there, I would say as well. So you hit the nail on the head with Saw.
One thing I will add, though, I agree with Rachel and Austin. It's not a family movie. Like, don't bring your 5-year-old niece to see it. But I would say, like, 10 years
preteen,
old.
Yeah,
preteen and older. But it's
you have a
definitely not
blast.
just for teenagers or young adults. Like, it's such a good thriller that I think, once you're of an appropriate age, we'll say 10 or so, anyone of any age can see themselves in one of these characters. So I think, like, any audience above that age would enjoy this.
And it doesn't have anything obscene, anything like that. It's just that the intensity and, the thriller aspect would be too much for somebody who's too terribly young. And, I was going to say, too, this premiere, the red carpet, it was 400 tickets sold out in 3 days. Now I know why. Rachel's whole family took them. She just said.
I have a lot of sisters.
Well,
a lot.
You should share. You got to teach your child that. You got to learn now. But yeah, no, but really, I mean, and then they open up a second screen and it's like, it's just already, I mean, it's exciting. So I think it's going to explode on Amazon. I think this is so perfect. I mean, I know some people are still not feeling all that safe to venture out, but if these guys can go through the polar vortex to make it, I say, get to the theater and watch it because the cinematography is already so fantastic that I think you need to see it on the big screen if you possibly can. If for some reason you can't, then buy the movie because it's fantastic and you can tell by just the personality of all of these people being in this movie together. Like you're all having such a great time getting to know each other. And I think that's what's so endearing, we'll say, is that you guys, you do come off on screen as kids who have been friends for years. I think you and I would be probably, all of us girls, I think would be quite fast friends. Not that we couldn't be friends, guys, Roberto, I'm very suspicious of. I would blame him no matter what, because he's super quiet. But somehow I think that's not how he is all the time.
I'm just a good listener, I'd say. One thing I will add, a part of us becoming such good friends on set and off set was because of, like Rachel and Austin's awesome ability to like bring us together, right, as people, and to really remain steadfast about like, okay, we're spending time together. This is what we're doing. And so I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to be like the best parents in the world. And, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome to see them raise this child.
Yeah. That laughing, he's also kind of like, he's throwing that single guy jab at you. Like, I don't have a kid right now. He's like, yeah, you get to watch the fireworks and then learn from everything they mess up.
Exactly.
See, I told you, there's a scary guy behind that. He's being all quiet.
It was funny though, like Rachel was just mentioning from what Roberto said. On set, we were kind of among the cast known as mom and dad.
Oh no.
Lauren would be like, "Oh, this isn't ready." I'd be like, "I already did that." She'd be like, "Oh, thank you, thanks, mom, thanks, dad. You really took care of it."
We all shared a house on the lake, and I made them a fort, like a like blanket fort in the living room.
Oh my gosh.
They set up movie night, and we watched The Incredibles.
Incredibles too.
They even made you get kid-friendly movies. Like, okay.
Oh, we also watched The Conjuring as well.
Okay.
So we had levels.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to work on a suspense like thriller movie, it's probably nice to throw some Pixar or something like that in there and lighten it up. Yeah. I wish I had a video of this whole interview, because if we did a montage, it would look like the whole time Rachel's doing a photo shoot to the side of what everyone else is doing. Anyone else notice that? Like that fan, the fan and the hair flipping. She's really, she's hot, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm so warm. I have my dress hiked up to my belly.
There's Lainey. I thought we'd lost you. There she is. Look at her. She's so sweet and innocent. I can't wait I actually will be coming from Detroit to the red carpet. Are you guys all going to be there? Yes.
I'll be there. So we look forward to meeting you in person.
You don't even have to find me. You'll hear me. Or I'll be bothering Richard. So I'm excited to meet you all, and thank you. We spent more time than I was supposed to, but so much of it was so fun, and honestly don't want to get off the phone with you. Unfortunately, my life calls me other places, but thank you for sharing your experiences behind the scenes. I think everything people can learn about the film before they see it just enriches their experience when they go to see it. So everybody get ready for the premiere, and you have to stay to the Blame Facebook page and keep following it for all the updates, as well as tickets as they become available and if they come available. But then also September 21st, Amazon will have it available to stream, and I'm so excited about that. So the world will be watching, guys, and not too long.
Well, thank you for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you, guys. I'm going to say bye to each one. Like, each one of you has to say bye individually so I can see you. So, Rachel, I've seen you the whole time, so bye. I'm kidding.
I have to pee anyways.
Okay, yeah. Don't include me in that. Okay. Look at Lauren. She's like, bye, Lauren. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
Oh, there he is. Don't stay so quiet. You're gonna have to be loud on that red carpet, because Rachel is gonna be extra.
Rachel's gonna be extra.
When is your due date?
October 13th.
Oh wow, you will be nice and miserable. Yeah.
You know how hard it is to find a red carpet maternity dress?
No, it isn't. Just get red carpeting, literally. Like, just cinch it around the middle. Look at her cheeks, bless her heart. You can tell how hot she is. She's so rosy. But I'm excited for you guys. I'm glad you won't be that close to your due date, because that was starting to make me a little nervous. Like, that you were maybe, like going to be like 3 weeks away from your due date by the time you go to the premiere. So you'll have at least a couple of months leeway.
Yep.
Lainey, are you there too still?
Yep. Thanks so much for having us.
There she is again.
Delightful.
Your personalities I can see a little bit of your character in you, but it's it. See, now you perk up. Now that the interview's over, here comes Roberto. Whatever. You know what? I honestly expected a completely different personality out of Austin on the interview because I thought he was gonna be like super intense and serious. I really did. Look at Rachel. Like Rachel, she's like no, but I actually like seeing the fun-loving side.
Thanks. No, that's the beauty of acting and why we love it, because we get to experience someone we are not.
You know, you can do that in real life, but then they diagnose you. So
I'm excited for everybody to see Lainey's character, honestly, because when she talks, she's so articulate and like thinks about her words, and they all come out very nicely. And then when you see Andy, like I don't know how Lainey, I don't know.
Just flies out.
Oh, she can take breaths.
It's just a waterfall of words nonstop.
It was very impressive. Thanks, guys.
You guys have a wonderful day. I'm so glad I got to see all of you and somewhat more Roberto at times. You guys should let him talk. See?
Listen, Ginger, I'm plotting your demise right now.
Oh, dude, it's on. You don't go toe to toe with the master. When I say Maleficent, that wasn't just so I could play a character in this little role. Like,
well,
no.
You did beat me to it. I was gonna say Maleficent is mine.
No.
You can be the little crow I keep on my staff. Hey, if I could ever look like Angelina Jolie, I would wear horns, like for real. Like, I'm glad to talk to all of you guys, and especially anything that Richard has done. Like, I'm always excited to be near and around, and so I will be seeing you guys next month. And take care of each other.
Take care, Ginger.
Thank you guys for all your time.
Bye.
Bye.